The first thing you want to do is put the little memory disk into the adapter. And if you don't have one of these adapters, you need to get one. It is a SanDisk micro SD adapter. Looks like that and this. And they fit together so that the two metal things are pointing in the same direction. And this goes in this way. Boom. And it's done. And then you take this and you put it into the slot on the side of the computer. What will show up is a little picture of your SD card over here on the right. It will say Untitled. And you double click on that. And it will show three items. One will be DCIM, and then a Get Started with GoPro, and a Miscellaneous. We're only interested in the DCIM folder. So what we want to do is we want to copy that into the Unity of Kona folder. So that we need to open up our hard drive and then go to the Movies folder, then the Unity of Kona videos. And here we go. Let's make a folder so it matches our date. So we'll just make a folder and we'll say Unity of Kona service for 2016 November 13. Okay, so everything about that video will be in that folder. Go in there. And remember, we're only interested in DCIM, so we're going to copy that. We're going to move that into the, not move, but copy that into the folder we just created. And there'll be a status bar, shows you your progress. It will take about 20 minutes for the data to be copied from the SD card to your computer. You will know that it's finished when the status window goes away. Once that's finished, you can eject the SD card by going over here, clicking on the SD card icon, and then entering the Command E command. Command E is eject, and the window will go away, and you will no longer see the icon. At that point, you can pull the SD card adapter and SD card combo out of your computer, and then you will want to remove the SD card from the adapter. And this goes back into the Ziploc bag so it can be reused for next Sunday or the following Sunday. Then the adapter you need to put away in a safe place so you can find it next time. The video files are now on the computer in the folder that we created called Unity of Kona service for whatever the date is, under the DCIM folder. We do not edit those files directly, but we will run Final Cut Pro now and load those files into it. So click on the Final Cut Pro icon and wait for it to load. Final Cut will default to something called Untitled here with Smart Collections and the date. And what we're going to do is we're going to right click, Control click, and then we're going to choose Close Library Untitled. Now we have essentially a blank Final Cut Pro project. We're going to click on Open Library. We're going to create a new library by clicking on New. And we're going to give it the name of the service. So Unity of Kona service for 2016-11-13. And so that we're organized, we're going to put it in our Unity of Kona videos folder. There we go. Inside the Unity of Kona service folder that we created earlier. You should see this DCIM because it's going to go in this folder right next to this. So click Save. Now that we have our library created, we need to import those video files into Final Cut Pro. So we're going to click on Import Media. Go to Unity Church. And then we're going to go into the Movies folder, Unity of Kona videos, and into the Unity of Kona service for today's date. There they all are. We want all of them loaded, so we're going to click in the gray area here. Then we're going to hit Command A to select all. And then on the right, we're going to click on Import All. Make sure this says Copy to Library. Assign IXML track names if available. Close window after starting the import. Click on Import All. Now all of our video files will be in our library here. I usually like to view them in smaller, and you can make them smaller by moving the slider all the way to here. Now that the content is in our library, we are going to create a project for them to edit them. So we're going to click on New Project, give it a name, Unity of Kona Service 2016-1113. And here we have the project made. Going to select all of our clips. We have 4 clips, so let's click in this gray area. Hit Command A to select all. They'll turn yellow like that. Then hit the letter E, and they will load into the file. In this window, you'll see a little bit of a highlight. The camera is set at an ultra-wide angle so that it can see more than we really need. You can see the entire stage. And we're going to zoom in and out of various areas of this stage during the editing process. It will take a few minutes for the videos that you have loaded from the library into the timeline to be copied. Once they are all copied in, they will appear in the order that they were recorded in. The first step in editing the video will be to remove all of the recorded video before the introduction to the service. The way we're going to find that is to move your cursor over the timeline to where these numbers are. We're going to left click and scroll back and forth until we find the point at which the introduction is made. It looks like that's about it. Kathy's about ready to make the introduction. So we can push the space bar and listen.
Good morning.
When she says good morning, that's actually the beginning of the service. So we're going to rewind just a little bit. Now, that is going to be the beginning of the service. Now we want to split the file right here where that red line is. Once we have found the place where we are going to make the split, you can hit the letter B or select the blade tool. And then you hover over to this area where it's going to be the start, left click, and it's going to put a cut there. Now we're going to go back to select. You can hit the letter A or select this portion of the clip, and then hit your delete key. And that's going to remove the material before that. Now, when we hit spacebar,
Good morning.
now we've got too much material here at the beginning, so we're going to zoom in, and you do that by hitting the Z key, Z, or you can hit Command plus, Command plus equals, or Command minus zooms in and out. I have a shortcut made for Z, so you hit the letter Z, it zooms in, and Shift Z zooms out. And wherever your cursor, wherever the red play cursor is where you'll be zooming. So we want to zoom here, so we go there, zoom in, and let's play and listen.
Good morning.
Okay, so she started saying good morning right there, so we're going to put our play cursor here. We're going to trim, so hit T, left click, and drag up to here. Now, that's where she'll say good morning.
Good morning.
Good. Now let's go back to select all. Zoom out by hitting Shift Z. And we just kind of go fast to where she's finished with the welcome.
Daily. I am grateful. And gosh, we live in Hawaii. How easy is it to be grateful? Now, if we can stand together, we're going to sing Stand Together by Faith Rivera. So, song, praise team, if you want to come on up and sing.
All right.
Looks like you
And it's spacebar to stop. Now, we cannot put the music into our YouTube videos because we don't have the appropriate license to do that. It's very expensive to do so, and we don't want to be sued, so we don't do that. We have to edit the music out. So the music is getting ready to start here. So what we want to do is we want to split right here. So we're going to select our blade tool, left click. Now we put a cut there. Select. Now let's find the end of the song. And all I'm doing is just hovering over the timeline and moving my finger, moving the cursor to the right. That's the greeting. And let's see what's going on here. That's still the greeting, so let's forward a little bit farther. I went too far. You can also tell that the music's ending right about here. If you look at the waveform here, the music ends here and she's getting ready to talk. There's a little quiet area.
all of our newcomers and
She didn't have her microphone on, but we still wanted to get that. Okay, so that's the end of the song. We're going to hit B for blade. Now we're going to left click and we just put a cut there. Hit A for our select tool again. See, that select. Now we're going to select that portion of the video. We don't want it anymore, so we're going to hit delete. And we don't want this portion anymore, so we're going to hit delete. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to put a transition between these two parts. So we'll open up our transition window, and we are looking for the clock. Clock indicates that time has passed. So there's the clock. We're going to left click and drag it while we are left clicking, and we're going to place it right there at the edit point. Now we're going to zoom in so we can see it. There you go. There's a little, that's the clock face. We want the clock to look a particular way, so we're going to change it to be solid color. And it's a little bit too big. So we're going to make it smaller. Grab the border, make it a little bit smaller. Bingo. Now let's go back and see what it looks like. I move my cursor over here at spacebar. There it is. Hopefully you saw that. I'm going to zoom back out all the way. Now I had made a mistake in that I edited up to this point where Kathy is getting ready to speak, but she's still doing the welcomes. And we don't want the welcomes because some people don't want to be recognized on public video. So we're going to go to the place where she reads the daily word. Now I've already marked it right here. I've already made a cut here. So now we need to remove the material from the welcome to the daily word, which is this part of the video here. There, we got it. There, I've selected it. Now I hit the delete. Now it goes directly from the welcome to the daily word. So if I go back here and listen, spacebar.
So, song, praise team, if you want to come on up and sing, that'd be fabulous. Looks like you and me. Today's word is comfort.
Okay, there we go. Now we're moving on to the next part of the service.
I turn to my divine source.
Now she's getting ready to finish here. You can see the dip in the audio. That's where it gets quiet. And all we want to do here is make another cut so that we can know that that is the end of the daily word, and Rev Deb is getting ready to do the sanctuary visualization. So let's put a cut here by choosing blade, cut. Now about to select, and we're going to listen.
Each one of us. And we allow it to grow. Fill it with our love.
You just kind of skip around here. What I'm doing is I'm moving the cursor and left clicking on it various places and then hitting the space bar to start or stop.
Prayer for protection.
Okay, we just finished the sanctuary visualization and we're ready to sing the prayer for protection, which we cannot put on video either, so that means we need to zoom in here, find the exact end of where Rev Deb was finished, and put a cut there using the blade tool.
We sing the prayer for protection.
Okay, so go somewhere in that blank area, select the blade tool, left click, put a cut there, select the tool. We're good. Now we can zoom back out by hitting Shift Z. And we got to find the end of the song, which is probably going to be here. You can see this is where the end of it is. By the waveforms. We're going to cut there again. Blade tool, left click, cut, back to select. Now we're going to select this part of the video which we do not want anymore. So we're going to hit the delete key. Boom. There we go. Now we need to put another clock wipe in here because this is a time edit. And we could come over here to the transitions and copy this clock over here again. But we made some changes up here to how we wanted the clock to look so that we don't have to make those changes every time. Final Cut has a shortcut that lets us do the last thing that we did again. So let's close the transitions window by left clicking on this. Now zoom back out and go to our first transition. You see that transition? That's the clock wipe we did. So we can left click on that with the select tool, left click on it, then hit Command C. Now I'm hitting Shift Z to zoom back out. Now we go to the next point, left click, tick there, and then hit Command V as in Victor. That pastes another one there. We're going to check to make sure it works correctly. Put my cursor here, hit spacebar.
The outcome as we sing the prayer for protection. And now I invite you to get comfortable where you are. Close your eyes if that.
And we want to go to the end of the time for centering in prayer, which is probably going to be this area right here, because that's the quiet area. It's probably the time everybody got quiet, and that means we're getting close to the end.
And we say thank you, God, for reminding us.
Zooming in
for
here.
loving us right here and right now. And so it is.
That's the end of the time for centering in prayer. So we're going to choose our blade tool. And we're going to put a cut here. Now go back to our select. You could use all these shortcut keys. You don't have to use the mouse. You can hit the letter B for blade, A for select, T for trim. But I'm doing it using the menu so that you know what I'm doing. You can see on the screen what I'm doing. The next thing that's about to come up in the church service is music, which we cannot have on the video because we don't have a license. So we got to go to the end of the song. Got to find it. So what I'm doing is just moving the cursor back and forth on the timeline, looking for approximately when David's finished and about when Rev Deb comes back up. And there she gets ready to come right here. You can also look at the audio here. The audio's quiet. Okay. That looks like that's the end, and she's getting ready to do her sermon. So now let's choose the blade tool, put a cut there, go back to select. We want to remove this part of the song. So left click on it, hit delete. And this is all part of the song too, I believe. Let's find out. It is, so we're deleting that. And this should be the end of the, yeah. Now we want to put another clock wipe here. And it's still in our buffer, so we should be able just to click here and hit Command V. And there it is. We've got a clock wipe right there. So space bar to check, make sure.
Wow, thank you, David.
There you go. Okay, now we're at the sermon, and we can go to the end. Somewhere around here when Deb gets finished is the end of the sermon. Oops, looks like we don't have the full sermon, which happens sometimes because the battery sometimes runs out before the end of the service. So this is all the video we have. Let's just see how far we got.
It's only for that moment.
And that's all the video we have. So normally we would have another section here where Deb would finish, which she'd get the applause. We would go to the end of the applause and put a blade cut there, and that would be the end of the service. Now the next step we want to do is we want to add the intros and outros. We have video that are specially made for Unity of Kona that we need to add into the beginning and ending of this timeline. Now you remember, this is our library of all the clips. This little icon right here controls how it looks in the library. So we're going to left click that. What we're going to do, we made this smaller before so that the clips were smaller. Now we're going to make the length of time it shows smaller. We're just going to bring it all the way down to there. Now we've got 4 clips. But we want to add the intro and outro in our library so that we can put it in our timeline. So let's go get it. The way you do that is move your mouse cursor to this black area here. Right click or command click, or you could have hit Command I. There's so many ways to do things. And you'll get this screen again where you can import the media. What we want to do is go back to the movies folder, and we want to look for the intro and outro videos. Here they are. Click both of them. Import all. Here they are. Now that we have them in our library, we need to place them in our timeline. So the first thing we're going to do is move our cursor to the very beginning, and we're going to select this clip, and we're going to hit this little icon right here, which will insert the clip at the beginning. Now, you didn't see much of it move, but it's there. You can zoom in to make sure that it is there. There it is. Yeah. Now we need to put the outro. So put our cursor at the end of the clip, or the end of the timeline. Select the outro. Hit that same button. And it put it at the end. So let's zoom in and make sure it's there. There it is.
Moment.
Okay, that's the outro. Now zooming back out, which is Shift Z. Go back to the beginning. Now, right now we don't have a transition between our intro and outro. It just jumps right in. So let's add a little crossfade in between the intro and the start of the welcome. So the way you do that, you go over here to your transitions, And we're going to scroll up here and we're going to look for cross dissolve. Left click cross dissolve, drag it over here, release it. There's not enough extra media clip to create transition. That's okay for this particular case. Just create transition. We're good to go. Now, since we need this at the end also, we're going to copy this and place it at the end. So left click that transition, hit Control C, Control C, zoom back out so we can see that's Shift Z, go to the end, move our cursor, and then hit Z for zooming in. We want the transition to go there, so we left click. Now Command V, and we're going to get this, and that's okay. Transition. Now, whenever we check it, there'll be a nice transition.
Moment.
Cross dissolve. There we go. Now we've got our intros and outros. The next thing we want to do is we want to add the lower thirds for each section of the video. And the lower thirds are found up here, top left. You click on Titles and Generators. We're going to expand Titles. And at the bottom you'll see Lower Thirds. Click on Lower Thirds. The lower third that the church uses is called Gradient Center, which is right here. So you left click and then drag and put at the top of the first clip. Now let's zoom in and see what it looks like. We don't want it over the title, we want it over the first clip. Make this just a little bit bigger so you can see it. Now, we need to create the correct name and description. So you can click on this device or move your cursor to here and then click on that. You see how I've got the cursor on top of the play cursor on top of the gradient center. And you can double click on name, double click, and it'll allow you to edit. And we're going to call it welcome. And underneath it is the description. You can also edit it over here. I just click down here to get out of the edit mode. And if you hover over the bottom text, you can double click that. And we usually put the person's first name here. Kathy. As you can see, when we start at this transition from the title to the first clip,
Good morning.
it fades in. It says, welcome,
Good
Kathy.
morning. Welcome to.
But then it comes out, it stops right here. And we want it to go across the entire welcome message. So we're going to zoom out. And here's the end of the welcome message, because that's where that clock wipe is. So we're going to grab the edge of the lower third, welcome, and we're going to left click and drag it out to the end of the clip. Now it'll play the whole time Kathy's giving the welcome. Now the next section is going to be the daily word. And the easiest way to do this is copy and paste. Instead of going up here, we could go over here and we could drag it again, but it's actually easier just to copy and paste. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the titles. I'm going to get back to our library, and we're going to left click on the gradient center welcome, and we're going to hit the key command, Command C to copy, and we're going to place our cursor, our play cursor, at the beginning of the next section, which is going to be the daily word.
In the wake of loss, I find comfort in the all.
All right, so, and To place the gradient center lower third, we hit Command V. Now it copies here. Now obviously it's saying the wrong thing. It's saying welcome, and it's not welcome. It's the daily word. So let's double click the welcome message. And we're going to type in, actually let's do it up here. Type today's daily word. Kathy is still reading it, so we can leave the name there. And we need to expand the lower third so that it shows over the entire clip. So we're going to grab the right handle and we're going to drag it to the end of that clip. So that's done. Now let's see what the next section is, which should be the sanctuary visualization.
Now is the time we're going to visualize our sanctuary as a beautiful.
Okay, again we're going to paste what we had before because it's still in our copy buffer. So we place our play cursor at the beginning and hit Command V. And again, it says what we copied, which is incorrect. It says welcome, Kathy. But we have to change both this time. So we're going to double click welcome. And we're going to rename this to be Sanctuary Visualization. And it's no longer Kathy, so we're going to double click the Kathy. The description, we're going to put Rev Deborah Knowles. And again, we want to bring this to the end of that clip. We want to make it long enough to expand over the entire clip. There we go. Sanctuary visualization. Now, since Deb's going to be doing the rest of the presentation, and we don't want to have to re-type in her name, we're going to copy this. So we hit Command C. We selected the lower third, Sanctuary Visualization Gradient Center. Hit Command C. Now we go to the next section, which is going to be, should be time for centering and prayer.
And now I invite you to get comfortable where you are. Close your eyes if that feels right to you. And we begin our time of centering and prayer.
Correct. So let's put our play cursor at the beginning of this section, and we'll hit Command V to paste the lower third. Now it still says Sanctuary Visualization, so we're going to edit that to be time for centering and prayer. And again, this is a long section, and if we didn't pull this handle out to the end, it would stop. The lower third would stop, so I'll show you.
Moments. And we exhale.
And we want it to go for the entire time. So let's grab the right handle for time for centering and prayer, the lower third, bring it to the end, boom. Now the last and final section is the actual sermon. So I'm zooming in and out using the Z key. Z zooms in, Shift Z zooms out. Or you could use the Final Cut commands, which would be Command plus or Command minus. We're going to paste the gradient center, lower third, on the sermon area. So it would be Command V. Now, I'm going to double click Sanctuary Visualization again, and we're going to type in the correct text, which should say Unity of Kona Sermon for 2016-11-13. I'm going to zoom out, and the lower third can now be expanded to the very end of that section. Now we have finished the lower thirds. The next thing we want to do is we want to zoom in and out at the various sections of the stage to highlight the area of interest. Now that we have our lower thirds there, the lower thirds, of course, are the text down here. Lower third on all the sections. Now it's time to zoom the camera in and out to the various sections that we're interested in. So the way we do that is first we're going to zoom in to a section. Let's go to the first clip and we'll highlight it. And on the right hand side we can see this crop icon. Click on that. And we want to crop it. We don't want to trim. It gives you 3 different kinds of options. We're going to crop. After you hit the crop button, it will show an area that is going to crop from the picture. Now notice that our aspect ratio is wrong. It is very wide. It's almost cinematic. And it's too wide. So that tells me that I did not select the correct video properties when I started this project. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to modify those right now. So we're going to click on Done for the crop. I'm going to undo that. So hit Command Z. Now we have not cropped it. Now we're going back to our project over here and we're going to modify the project properties. Click on Modify. And notice that the video is 2K format. Well, we can't upload 2K video to YouTube. So we're going to change this to be 720p, 1280 by 720, 2997. Rendering is Apple ProRes 422, and this is fine. So we click that. And now the video actually shows up better. Now, instead of waiting to do it here, you could do it at the very beginning whenever we created the project. But I wanted to show you how to change it if you ever start working on your project and need to change it later. You just select on the project, you go up to your library, make sure your library is shown, click on the project, go over to the right, hit Modify, change it to be 720p HD. So now when we click on this clip right here, and we click on crop, the aspect ratio will be correct. Let's say we're only interested in what Kathy has to say. So we're going to make the area of interest be that size. When we're done, we click Done, and that is what we'll see on the screen. Now, the next clip is not zoomed in. And since Kathy is still talking, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this parameter and then paste it on here. There's a special trick to do that. So we're going to go to the first clip. We're going to hit Command C. Then we're going to move our play cursor over above the other one, the other clip. We're going to left click on the next clip. And instead of hitting Command V, we're going to hit Command Shift V. And we're going to paste just the crop. So all the others will be unchecked. We hit Paste. And you can see that now this clip has got the same attributes as this clip. Kathy is now showing up zoomed in. Let's go to our next clip. Now Deb is getting ready to do the sanctuary visualizations. Usually I like to get a little bit closer in, so what we're going to do is we're going to paste that same zoom onto this clip. So that's Command Shift V as in Victor. Hit OK. But let's get a little bit closer into Deb. So what we're going to do is click, since we have this clip highlighted, we're going to go to our crop, click on crop, and we're going to zoom in a little bit more into Deb here. Now we hit Done. Now, as you can see, compared to where Kathy's zoom level was, Deb is a little bit closer. It's a little warmer when she does the sanctuary visualization. Now the next is the time for centering in prayer. This is optional, but I kind of like this effect. Let's paste that same zoom, the first zoom level, onto this clip for the time for centering and prayer. So that's Command-Shift-V. And then we click paste. But then let's modify this. Put your play cursor above this clip, left click so it's selected, so the yellow lines show. Go over here, hit crop, and let's make it so that we see Ingrid and Deb together in a nice frame, because Ingrid is doing the background music for Deb as she does the centering in prayer. Click. And now you can see there's the sanctuary visualization zoom level. Here's the centering in prayer zoom level. The reason we do this is it makes the video look a little bit more interesting, and also it appears as if we have more than one camera on stage. It's just a nicer way to do it. Now here we are in this next clip. She's getting ready to start the sermon. I'm going to Command-Shift-V, that same crop, because sometimes Deb walks over to the left. Sometimes she'll walk over here where Ingrid is. Sometimes she'll walk over here. So I make the zoom a little bit wider when she does her sermon to cover the area where she may walk around. So click done. There we go. Now let's see what it looks like. Let's zoom a little bit here. Watch the transition.
Wow, thank you, David. Thank you, Larry, for putting that together. We're so blessed. How is everyone?
Looks nice. Okay, the thing you need to watch out is sometimes there'll be multiple takes on the sermon. What I mean by that is, if you remember, we ran out of recording right here. So the sermon ends abruptly here. Now, had we not lost battery power, there would have been another clip here, and we would need to paste this same zoom level onto the other clips that would appear over here. But since we don't have any more, we don't need to do that. So at this point, the video is now completely edited and finished. Just as an FYI, these little dots up here on the timeline are areas of the video that have not been rendered yet. Final Cut is rendering those videos in the background while you're doing other editing. So you don't have to worry about that, but that's what those little dots mean. Playing from the beginning just to check it. Looks nice.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Kona.
Looks good, and let's fast forward to the transition where Kathy reads a daily word.
Sing? That'd be fabulous. Just like you and me. Where are you been? Today's word is comfort. I turn to my divine source to receive comfort.
Okay, that's very nice. Now we're going to the next transition. We're just double checking. This is also a good place to double check your spellings for the lower thirds. You know, these little areas right here. These are the lower thirds that show up down here. You want to make sure all the spelling is right. So that looks good. Today's daily word, sanctuary visualization, time for centering in prayer, and the sermon. So it all looks good. Let's check our exit.
It's only for that moment.
And unfortunately, that's where the sermon ended. But at least we had something. Now it is time to render the video for upload to YouTube. There's a couple ways this can be done, but I have found that really only one that can do it consistently without problems. If you go up here to where it says File and Share, there is actually a YouTube link to share the video. However, every time I have tried to use that function, it fails. 99 out of 99 times, it will fail. So I have given up trying to use this function to directly post to YouTube, and instead what I do is I share to an Apple device 720p. So you click on that, left click on Apple device 720p, and let's go into our settings, and we want to make sure that it's on better quality. Resolution looks fine. This all looks fine. Don't really need to change that. Unity of Kona service for 2016 11/13. Now we'll click Share, and it will be rendering in the background. This will take several hours. If you want to see the progress of the render, go up to Window and choose Background Tasks. And you can see that writing Unity of Kona service is at 10%. Depending on how fast your computer is, it could be an hour, it could be 30 minutes, it could be a couple hours. You just don't know how long it's going to take. But whenever this says 100%, there will actually be a little message up here on the right that tells you that it's finished rendering. So we're going to wait until that rendering is done, and then I'll tell you the next step. Now that it's finished rendering, you can see that the sign up here on the top right will say Share Successful. We made an Apple device's 720p file, so we can close that notice, and we can close the background rendering. Now that we have finished editing the file, we can close Final Cut Pro. The next step of this process is to upload this file to YouTube. But before we do that, we want to make sure the file looks and sounds correctly. So let's go to where the file is. So that's going to be in Macintosh, Music, iTunes, iTunes Media, Home Videos. And the reason it's there is because we selected Apple devices 720p. Instead of uploading to YouTube. That's where they are stored. Now, let's run Safari. And click on the YouTube link so that we can upload our video. Upload. And now we just drag the file to the upload area. For consistency's sake, I generally put a hyphen in between the date. That's up to you. And for the description, I put Unity of Kona service for 2016-11-13. The tags are important because that's how people find our videos on the internet. In this particular video, we have Unity of Kona, Unity Religion, Kailua Kona, we have Hawaii, we have Rev Deborah Knowles, and that's really all we have in here. There's no need to put the greeter or the reader or the musicians in there unless they're featured and for some reason the music is actually included in the video. We want it to be public. We want to add the playlist weekly Sunday services. So check there. We do want to post it on Google Plus and Twitter. I'm going to hit publish, but we're going to edit the video again because there's some other parameters we want to change. So we're going to return to editing, and we're going to go translations. Original language is English. We're not going to translate into any other language. Monetization, we do not want to monetize with ads. Advanced settings, no comments. That's because we do not want to have to monitor the comments for any profanity or negative comments, so we just simply turn the comments off. The category is education. The video language is English. Caption certification is never aired on television or TV. Make the video statistics publicly visible. Allow embedding and notify subscribers. And of course, this does not contain a product placement, so we do not check that. And there's no age restrictions. Recording date. Usually you can hit today if you edit it on the same day of the service, but since today is the day after, I want to change this to be the 13th, which is the day that it was actually recorded. Save changes. And we wait until it's uploaded, and then we're going to check it before we post it on YouTube. So I'll be back in just a few minutes, and we will show the final steps. Notice it's a couple minutes remaining. Once it's finished uploading, YouTube will need to process the video, and this will take a few minutes, and we will wait for that also. One of the things that you can do while it's uploading and processing is they give you a temporary link that you can use to see the video. And I normally like to open that up in another tab, so you can just right-click and choose Open Link in a new tab. And now, this is where the video will show up. Now, obviously, it's still uploading and still processing, so we can't watch it here, but this is where it will be. In case you didn't know, I'm in Safari, just clicking on different tabs. Alright, the video has been uploaded to YouTube, and now YouTube is processing the video. This will take a few minutes, and so we're going to wait for that, and then check the video to make sure that it uploaded correctly. YouTube has finished processing the video. Let's look at the video and go to our YouTube tab. And let's just refresh by clicking on this circle, refresh, and indeed it is finished and it's going to play. Yay! We have successfully edited the file and uploaded it to YouTube. Now all we have to do is post the link of this video onto Facebook. Now that the video has been uploaded to YouTube and we know that it looks and sounds great, it's time to post the link onto Facebook. So I've got the video here in front of me into YouTube using Safari. And the easy way to do that is to scroll down here, click on Share, and then copy this link. So we're going to right click and copy that link. Then we're going to go to Unity of Kona's Facebook page. And we're going to post Unity of Kona service for 2016-11-13. And we paste the link into this. And the way you paste is Command V, hit enter, and it will show up. We hit publish, and here it is. Unity of Kona service. Now that we have posted the link on the Unity of Kona Facebook page, it's time to do some cleanup on the computer. When we copied the files from the SD card, it took up quite a bit of space on our computer. And in addition, Final Cut copies those files and makes its own format. So we have a large amount of video files on the computer now that we no longer need. So let's get rid of those. Let's quit Safari. Now this is the edited video file. We want to keep that. That's the master file for the service for 2016-11-13. Let's go to where we copied the DCIM folders, which is going to be under Movies, Unity of Kona Videos, and that's this service right here. This contains all of the files that we used to make the video for that service. As you can tell, the Final Cut files are 85 gigs, and the DCIM files are rather large also. So since we know that the YouTube video uploaded correctly and it works properly, we can delete these work files. So to delete, you highlight, hit Command, Delete. Now there's one other thing we need to do, and that is Final Cut makes backups of all the videos that it works on, and they're going to be under Movies, Final Cut Backups. As you can see right here, there is the service again. We want to delete that also because that's just as large as the original. Click on that, Command Delete. Now, empty our trash. Let's go down here, right click, empty trash. And we have successfully removed the work files from Final Cut Pro and gained back disk space on this computer. We have kept the final master file, and remember that is in Music, iTunes, Media, Home Videos. There they are. There will be a bunch of them here. Every service will be right here. But this is the edited master file for that service. And of course, there's a copy of it sitting on YouTube too. This completes the entire process. Mahalo.